KO Stay Running here with Ross MacAndrew, the Prout track coach, but also here a marathoner at the Boston Marathon, 109th place, 227.59, a very good time, very wet conditions. Now, Ross, I know you came in here, you wanted to do 218. It seemed like you were at that pace at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then still maintained a steady pace throughout this race. But talk about your effort today. You happy with it?
Happy with the effort. The result wasn't there, but I was on for a while. I felt good. Mark, my coach, said to run your own race, so there was a while that I was kind of, I could see a pack ahead of me, and I was sitting behind him, and I was just, I just felt comfortable and good through half and even a little farther, and then. Once those hills hit, that kind of, I was working them. I actually felt better than I usually do on those, the first two, and then the second two kind of got to me. I was hoping I had a little more at the end, and the legs were just cement. So it was just everything to kind of finish today, put through at the end.
How are the conditions? Because I know it's like drizzling throughout this race, and it even picked up, right? At some point.
Yeah, at one point I just kind of noticed that it was just downpouring, and then it let off really easy. So not the worst one I've done up here, but temperature wise was good. I like, keeping it cool. 40s and 50s is fine. Headwind was not ideal. It wasn't super windy, but it was, any time that you got that going on, it's kind of bothersome. So you try and hang behind somebody if you can, but you also can't let that dictate your whole race. If you got to get around them, or you got to drop back a little to kind of get into that comfort zone, that's what you do. So I was working it when I could, but drop back or pushed ahead when I needed.
And talk about your marathon career. You started it back in 2017 was your first race.
17, yep.
After only running 2 years, right, in high school at Prout?
Yeah. I had a little bit of a delayed start, so I only ran junior and senior year, did club team at Northeastern, and then on and off, I was trying to do, a marathon. I was trying to do Bay State up here when I was still living on Pier. Had to pull out because of an injury. So there was a point that I just kind of said I want to wrap up my running career with a marathon. I wanted to qualify for Boston, do Boston. And at that point, it was kind of call it quits there. I didn't really have any further aspirations. Qualified in Providence, got that time down in New Hampshire. Ran pretty well in Boston that year with bad weather. And then I thought I could do better, pushed it in Philly. So in Philly, I hit 225. And at that point, I was about 6 minutes off Olympic trial time. So that's when I was like, all right, the fire kind of came back competitive wise, and I just really want a gun for that. So that's what I was trying to do today. I've had setbacks. I broke my back a few years ago from stress fractures between workload, running wise, but also I do a lot of manual labor jobs. I play in a band, so there's a lot of stand with a guitar over your shoulder for hours on end. So it was a lot of just, toll on the body. I'm on the right side of that now, which is good. So I'm really just trying to put in as much mileage and effort as I can.
So Ross, getting trained by Mark Skinko, who back in the 70s and 80s, the 217 marathon, I believe he qualified for the Olympic trials. How has that been, training, and also co-coach with you at the Prout School?
It's funny. He's just such a great guy. He's, he knows what he's doing. He gives me my workouts. He comes and I do a lot of my running on my own. About 99% of the miles I do, I'm by myself. So he's always checking on me. He comes to the track and he'll time me, and it sounds, like not that important, but when he's there, I work harder. He gives me the workouts, comes up with a whole schedule. He's very positive and motivating, so it's really good to have him by my side, and it's fun to be coaching with him. He knows what he's doing, and he's just a great guy. He's a really great guy to have coaching.
So where do we go from here? You're going to try another marathon to try to qualify for the trials. And when's the cutoff date to try to qualify?
I think it's January next year, 24. So it gives me a couple chances. I'll probably try and jump into Hartford, I think, at this point in the fall. I got to look around and see. I really need a flat course and something that's a little bit easier. I love doing Boston, but it's a tough course mentally to prepare for, and like the hills come in at a bad time. So look around for a flat course. If I can't hit it in like late summer or early fall, I might either drop or change the strategy and then try again in December, or push it to as close as I can to that deadline as possible. So got to put a lot of work in, though. I got to, today was a little eye-opening on what I got to work on.
So what gave you that idea that you could possibly do 218 today? Obviously, workouts must be going pretty well. And,
Yep.
and how much training did you do leading up to this?
So I did Philly in the fall, and that I was doing a lot of training for, and just kind of didn't have a good day down there. I felt like I was in good shape, but it just didn't pan out. So I put in like a lot of work between, pretty much right after that to today. Mileage wise, I hang around. Mark builds it up to a certain point. We hang around there and bring it back down. So peak mileage, I hit. I was 1 week, I went a little crazy. I hit 137 for the week.
Wow.
510 for the month of March, which is a lot. But I felt really good after that, surprisingly. Better than, I was more mileage than I was doing for Philly, and I felt really good, and confidence was up, so that was good. If I need to, I back down, go easy the days before workouts. Workouts are on the track, mile repeats, a lot of 400s, a lot of tempo runs, hill workouts, so just kind of varies. But it's a lot of work twice a day, sometimes 3 if you really need it, but usually twice a day. And try and push the long runs. My biggest weakness, I think, before was I live in Wakefield, so the bike path is a nice, clean, smooth surface to run on, which is great when you're trying to run consistently. But as Mark said, it's flat. You got to work on those hills. So I've been really, to get ready for this, I was trying to just put as much hill work in as I could.
So what can you tell me about this race? Anybody who runs this race seems to have a great experience, whether even if they didn't do so well time-wise, but just the atmosphere, running in this atmosphere.
I was kind of hitting that point, actually, like towards the end, when it's tough when you can see the time you were looking for just slipping away, and when your legs feel like cement and there's nothing you can do. You're just like, there's a lot of negativity that goes into your head, but there's so many people that line the entirety of the course, and they're all cheering for everyone. You get passed by a guy, and you're not angry at him. You're kind of encouraging him. You pass somebody, and they're encouraging you. So really, there's a competitive nature, obviously, in this, where you're trying to beat as many people as you can. But I think everyone kind of hits a point where it's like, oh, we're just trying to finish. So great crowds all the time, even in the cold and rain today. They're out like in crazy numbers as always. So it's really a fun one to run.
Well, Ross, congratulations! A great time on a kind of wet and cool day. And good luck, trying to reach that Olympic trial standard. It seems like you're on the right track, but great job.
Thank you very much.